Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to hang a metal walk gate to a wooden fence post. This was something I had a little trouble trying to find out online, so I figured it out myself and I'm going to show you right now. This is the gate that I'm going to hang. You can see it's got a metal pipe frame with chain link fence inside. I'm going to set this aside for the time being. I've already anchored one of my posts into the ground with concrete. If you don't know how to do that, I'll show you later in this video how to do that. This post is the one that's going to bear all the weight of the gate. So this is the one that actually has the hinges on it. And I had to buy some specialized hardware, sort of one piece at a time. I've included links to this hardware in the information section of the video. One piece of hardware you need are these. These are hinge pins with flat base plates. These plates are what we're actually going to fasten to our post. And the hinges for the gate are going to hang right on that pin. So these need to be secured to our post before we can really do much of anything else. We also need these. These are the hinges that are actually going to be attached to the gate. They're sort of going to pinch the gate, and these little holes are going to slide over those pins that we're going to attach to the post. And then finally, you're going to need a latch. So this is a latch which is built, once again, to fasten to a wooden post. You can see it has a flat base plate there, so we can actually fasten it straight to the wood. So the first thing I'm going to do here is fasten my pins to the post. I've already marked the center of the post, and I've also located the height where I want my pins to go. They're basically just located in places in the gate where the hardware of the gate isn't going to get in the way. So exactly where you place your pins is going to depend on your gate. To anchor my pins, I have some really nice lag screws. These are 3 inches long. I've also got a washer for each one. This is a kind of lag screw called a timber lock, which are really good screws. So what I'm going to do right now is poke some holes, some pilot holes for my hinge pins, just using a bit that's just a little bit smaller than the shaft of the screw. Alright, now that I've got my pilot holes drilled, I'm going to fasten my hinge pin to the post. And now I'll do the same thing for my lower hinge pin. Alright, so now I'm going to hang my hinges on the pins. Just undo that little screw there. Leave the nut and bolt out for a minute because this is actually going to pinch onto our gate. Those are looking good. So now I'm just going to go ahead and attach my gate to my hinges. Just sort of going to pinch these onto the gate. Make sure they're pretty straight here. And now I'm going to use these nuts and bolts so that my hinges have a really good firm grip on the gate. Before I tighten this up for real, I want to make sure that my gate has clearance with the ground. So that means for me, maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of clearance. So I'm going to try to get the height of this just right, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten these bolts on the hinges. All right. So my gate has good clearance off the ground. The swing is a little bit firm, but that's actually kind of a good thing. That way the gate isn't like flapping around. So at this point, now that I've got my hinges all good to go, I need to worry about that latch on the other side of the fence. And before we can deal with the latch, we have to cement that post into the ground. So let me show you how to do that right now. Now, to ensure that my posts are all in a really nice line, I've actually strung a line in between my two farthest posts. That way I can tell that all the new posts that I dig are exactly aligned. This will make it a lot easier to fine-tune my post and make sure it's exactly where it needs to be. To dig the initial hole, I used this post hole digger, but it's only about 6 inches wide and about 3.5 feet long. The hole has to be 3 times the width of the post. So once I dug the initial hole using my post hole digger, I had to use a shovel and a drain spade to widen and deepen the hole just a little bit. Now I've already measured and marked my post at the 3-foot mark. 3 feet is a pretty good depth to bury a post of 8 feet like this one. Alright, now that I have dug my hole to the right depth and I've marked 3 feet on my 8-foot post, I'm going to tamp down the soil with the post. This is just to make sure that there's not additional settling after the post is already anchored in the concrete. Okay, now I'm going to approximate the location that it needs to be when the latch is set. That's about it right there. Now I'm going to place some gravel in the bottom of the hole to promote drainage, and then make sure this is level, and then I'll add my concrete. This is about half a cubic foot of pea gravel. It's maybe 30 or 40 pounds. And away we go. I'm going to try to just evenly distribute the gravel around the post. Okay. Always level. So I'm going to use my level to make sure that this is exactly vertical. Always check both sides. Alright, that's pretty darn level. I've also checked to make sure that it's the same height as my other posts. I just walked down to the very last post and made sure that this was exactly the same height. So not only are they positioned laterally in the right place, they're also positioned vertically in the right place. I'm also going to double check that my latch fits in the space and is going to lock the gate in the manner that I want it to. And what's kind of a bonus is that my two posts are close enough and my level is long enough that I can just set it right on top of them and see that my post is not quite level. Alright, that is just about perfect right there. Alright, now that all my posts are totally level and perfectly in line, and I've got my gravel in the bottom of my post hole, I'm ready for cement. Okay, here's my concrete. You're probably going to want to use at least 80 pounds for an 8-foot post. At a bare minimum, wear chemical resistant gloves. I'm wearing a face mask. If this stuff gets in your lungs, it can cause some problems. It can cause some chemical burns as well. So treat it like it's a hazardous chemical. This is quick set cement. It's really easy to deal with. I'm just going to pour it into the hole, dump 1 or 2 gallons of water on top, and then just let it sit overnight. I'm going to level it one more time just to make sure. All right. Ready to add water. All right, so here comes about 1.5 gallons of clean water. Gotta keep leveling that. Make sure that every step along the way it's totally level. I'm gonna double check my latch to make sure that it's positioned right. Beautiful. I'm gonna use my drain spade to stir this up just a little bit. All right, in terms of its height, position, and how leveled it is, this post is just about darn near perfect. I'm gonna let this cement sit and harden overnight, and then tomorrow we'll come in and we will fasten the latch to this post. All right. Well, I've let our concrete set overnight, so our latch post is nice and firmly anchored into the ground. The gate is looking in good shape. The very last thing I have to do is to attach the latch. So I've already marked the appropriate height where I want to put this latch. It's going to go like this. So that's going to lock up our gate. All right, now that my pilot holes are drilled, I'm just gonna sink these lag screws into my latch and we're all set. Before I completely sink the screws, I'm gonna make sure that my gate fits the latch. Looks beautiful. We'll just sink them on in. Alrighty, that's a beautiful thing. Now if you actually want to lock your gate, you can use a padlock right here in this little gap there, like so. Right, and I can lock that lock and my gate will be secure. I don't have need for a lock in mine, I'm just trying to keep wildlife out, so I shouldn't need that. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any suggestions, comments, questions, you can leave them down in the comment section of the video. Until next time, remember, you can build anything.